Hi, so this is Debbie from Organic Oasis, California. It has been 1 month since the last video that I made about the heat and the problems I was having with my worm compost. The problem has been solved, and let's take a look at how the worm bin's doing. Whoa. There's a lot of worms in here. I don't know if you can see, but there are a lot of worms right there. This bin's doing great again. I'm so happy. Okay. So here is the bin that I'm going to be harvesting right here. Here's my bin. I'm going to move it to the top. I'm going to leave it open, the top open, and try to get some of these worms to go down to the bottom level. So that's my goal. I think what I'm going to do now is, there is some worms down here, so I'm going to go ahead and scrape these. I'm going to close this drain off. I'm going to clean this and put this back. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is the top bin that I'm going to be harvesting. So now I'm going to put all these bins back on. I think what I'm going to do, I forgot, I want to put a little bit of newspaper, shredded paper here, just to help absorb some of the moisture that may drip down. And if the worms get down there, if they can't get back up, they'll have something to eat. Okay. This one has a lot of worms in it. There's a little plant. Okay, now this one. Now this is why coco coir, I'm not liking it so much, because it's really hard to break down. So I'm switching to something different. I'm going to, this is the top bin. I'm going to leave it here with the lid off and try to get these worms, any worms up here, to move down. And then I just purchased this on Amazon, and it's the Urban Worm Coco Coir Soil Amendment and Worm Bedding, 100% natural cocoa fiber. And it basically says 2 to 3 blocks recommended for starting a bedding. Pour 3/4 gallon of water into the bag. Break up the brick by squeezing outside the bag. Squeeze out excess water from the coco coir and place into your urban worm bag or other worm bin. Keep bottom of urban worm bag open for 24 hours to allow excess moisture to escape. So I went ahead and followed the directions. I put the water in the bag, and this is really nice. So what they did was, the coco coir has been shredded, and it's just nice and moist and soft. I really love this. So I'm going to try mixing. I'm going to make this bed. Once I empty this compost out, I'm going to set up the new bed using this as an experiment to see how it goes. It's not that the worms can't break down the bigger pieces of coco coir, it just takes a really long time. And this bin is supposed to be set up to harvest monthly, and sometimes, even though a month has gone by, there's still big chunks of it in there. So I'm going to try this. That I made a mistake on is, when I was just moving the bin that I'm going to be harvesting the compost out of, the ladder had stuck to the bottom of it, and I had forgotten about it when I restacked these. So that's one thing about this particular bin, is that it does have this, they call it a ladder. It goes on the very bottom, and it's supposed to help the worms be able to crawl back up and down if they get stuck down there. So now I need to take all of this off again. It's quite heavy, so I need to, again, go back, take all of them off. Now I have to put the ladder back in here, the worm ladder, and now I can put these back again. Okay, that's good. All right, so now it's all set up. And what I think I'm going to do to speed up the process is I'm actually going to hand pick the worms out and put them in the bin. It's going to take a long, long time to get them to move down, and this is a hot day today, and I want to hurry the process up. So I went through my bin that's ready to harvest, and I pretty much hand picked out most of the worms. It took about 30 minutes just to go through. I know I could have sifted them out. We do have a sifter, but it's easy. I think the soil's a little moist right now for me to sift this. It just was easier to hand pick them out. So now this can go out into my garden, and now the worms are back in here, and we can continue to feed, and in a month we'll harvest another bin. So it worked out really well. My compost harvested, and I went ahead and put it into some of my fall beds that I'm getting ready to plant. I'm going to add the new bedding, and I'm going to use this new shredded urban worm coco coir, which I'm actually liking the feel of it here. So I'm just going to pour it in. See how far it goes. Wow, it's really nice. Very soft. Crumbling it up. It holds moisture nicely. They say to squeeze it to get any extra moisture out. As you can see, if I squeeze it, there is water coming out. I don't know if you can see that. But if I take this and squeeze it as hard as I can, there's like water coming out of it. So what I'm going to do at this point, because there is water in here, I'm going to go ahead and mix in some paper. So I'm just going to take a bunch of my shredded paper, and I'm just going to mix it in with it. The paper will absorb extra moisture. I'm also going to mix in some rock dust, minerals. I'm just going to put in, this is azomite. I'm going to probably put in 2 tablespoons. This also works as a nice grit. You don't have to worry about that. I'm going to keep putting in papers. Just to get it nice and mixed up. And get some of that extra water to absorb. I'm not going to overdo it. Like tomorrow I can come out and I can do another squeeze test. and see, you know, if the paper took care of it, and if not, I can add more paper. I'll put in one more big handful. Okay. Now the idea of this is to feed the worms. This worm bin, which is the Worm Factory 360, the idea is to that when you feed it on the top, the worms are all supposed to move from the bottom up to eat. And so all the worms are supposed to be up here. That actually isn't what happens. The worms, as you can see, there were plenty of worms still down after 4 months on the bottom bin. And there were even more worms on the second and third tray. So they're all over the bin, but I mean, I've had this several years, I've learned to work with it. It's still, I would say, a good bin, but it isn't exactly how they said. So I will set this up, I will put food up here, but the truth is, all the worms are not going to magically move up to the food. So I'm not going to put any more paper in here. I'm going to wait until tomorrow. I'll come back out and check and see, and if necessary, I'll add more paper. For now, I do have some food I'm putting in, and it is an apple core. It's going to stick there. I've got a banana, a couple bananas. The worms love the bananas. We're going on a vacation for a few weeks, so I won't be here to feed them. So this will last, and I'll be able to leave the bin without worrying about it. And then I have some coffee grounds and some parrot food. We have a parrot. That's you probably hear it, but. And that's it. And then on top of this, I might put a little bit of more shredded paper just on top. And then I like to I used to have a worm blanket. I don't have that right now, but I like to put like this. It's just a piece of cardboard on top. And I put the lid back on. And that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm hoping that you feel compelled to get a worm bin and try vermiculture yourself. It's a really great way to get compost and to use up your food waste. And it's an extra little thing that you have to do, but you get used to it. It doesn't take long. I probably spend maybe 30 minutes a month, an hour a month, rotating bins and things like that. So anyway, it's well worth it. Follow along with my videos to see how I manage the worm bin on a monthly basis. Thanks for watching.